Hey everyone, Brendan Sander here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me. And guess what? So I got home and another box in the mail for CDs. And you know me, if I see this and I get home and I've got it, then I'm walking on water because this is what I like. I live for getting cool things in the mail that just, kick off the evening right or the weekend right or whatever it is. And so, I don't know, about a week or so back, I did one of these where I'd gotten a bunch of CDs from an eBay seller, a heavy metal museum, and it just enjoyed so much of what I got and the stuff that that person had listed in their eBay store that I ended up going back and ordering a bunch more. So that's what this is. This is more stuff from that online seller, and I can't wait to open and share it with you. We'll do it here in just a bit, but before we start, if you're new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And of course, it's an added bonus by turning on notifications. You won't miss an episode and certainly won't miss anything like this where I'm unboxing stuff right as it comes in the mail. That's the best part. I haven't even had a chance to get into this yet, so and I'll be quite frank, I don't even fully remember everything that I placed the order for because as I found it, I just put it in the cart and then I hit, I think, 8 things and I decided to check out at that point. And now it's time to get into it. So let's cut into this box. Let's see what we got here, having arrived today in the mail. I haven't been getting a lot of stuff in the mail. I used to film these kind of episodes a lot more often, but I was doing more shopping at local stores and things like that, and I like to keep doing that. But when I find a place online that is as good as this one, and go on eBay and check this out, Heavy Metal Museum, I highly recommend it. The owner of this is Gary Schaefer, at least that's the name on this. I believe that's what somebody told me, the person who runs it. So shout out to him for such a great online record store, so to speak, through eBay. All right, so we're getting rid of that sort of stuff, and right off the bat, got something very cool right on top. Can't see through it, but I'm going to take it out and show you. So certainly, just like last time, very well protected. And I got to say, somebody asked me about or commented about having trouble with Amazon and getting stuff damaged, and I said, you know, you kind of you get what you pay for, which is it's very cheap to ship and it's quick to get and all that kind of stuff, but the stuff can come damaged. And if you don't want that and you're willing to wait a little bit longer for things, order from people on eBay or actual record stores. They will pack your stuff a lot better like this. All right, so let me see if I can get into this and get these things out. All right. Almost there. All right, there we go. All right, so the first thing on top, it's actually the back side of it when I showed it to you, is a best of sword. Let's see if I can get that even to reflect quite right because the light's hitting it kind of weird, but very, very cool foil cover on this thing. So this is the Canadian sword band, the 80s one, not the more modern day one. Unidisc is the Canadian label that does a lot of these things. I got their album, so certainly not a matter of not having it and only wanting to get it this way, but I like compilations and things where I can hear the songs that were considered the hits or whatever it is the band might feel that they want to represent them. So this one has 10 tracks, but it's also got some bonus tracks on it here. It's got some previously unreleased tracks. It's got 3 of them, in fact, on here. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. I didn't even know that was going to be part of it, but excited about that. This next one is the one that I was most excited about, even though I actually have this from a Tramp box set, Studs and Lion. These are 2 bands that Tramp had before White Lion. And so I have a copy of this, but it wasn't in packaging that was what I would say is as nice as this. I'm also kind of hoping that this has a little bit better sound quality. And unfortunately, I recently found that that disc has a flaw in it. And I don't know if it's just over time because these were, sort of cheaply manufactured. They're still silver pressed, but I think they're like home done silver press as opposed to They're not just straight burn, but I do think that might be why that this disc is broken down, because I never had this problem with it. At least I don't recall. So I'm really hoping that not an issue on this, but we get 9 tracks from the Studs LP that Mike Tramp was part of. And then the band changed its name to Lion, and we get, let's see, I think it's 11 songs on here, demos that were for that. And ultimately, later on, some of these songs would turn up with White Lion, like the song El Salvador is on here. But very, very cool. This was a very limited release. I think I saw that this was only limited to like maybe 500 copies. No, 200. It says on the back, 200 copies on Loudworks Classic Albums. It is a 2025 release. Didn't know anything about this. In fact, I'm going to reach out and ask Mike about it. I don't, might not even be something that he can control its release, but either way, the stuff sounds great. If you've never checked this out and you have an opportunity, it is so worth it if you like White Lion and you like Mike Tramp. Okay, so I've never seen this on CD, and this may well just be a high quality boot. But Angel Witch, Frontal Assault, this is their second studio album. I have it on LP, but I've never seen one on CD. I'm not saying that it's not out there or that it didn't have a limited run or something. This is on a label that's called New Wave of British Heavy Metal Treasures. It's done well enough for me. I'm willing to buy it whether it is a high quality boot or not, because I've wanted it on CD. Even the LP isn't that high a quality, so I'm not sure what to expect here with this. But this was the brief period of time where the trio became a 4-piece and they brought in a lead vocalist. So it's a little bit different era for the band, and then they ultimately went back to the trio and having Kevin Hayborn do all the vocals, but he shares them on here with an actual lead vocalist. So that's on here. I got the first 2 FM albums on Rock Candy Records reissue. So I had this on a twofer from BTO Records or BGO, Beat Goes On, not Bachman Turner Overdrive, but hey, wouldn't that be cool? Beat Goes On Records, which is a great label, but we know that Rock Candy just does these things up right. They remaster them, you get the killer booklets. But really what sold me is that this one, the debut, Indiscreet, has a 2 CD set and has a bunch of extra stuff. And it's very rare that you find a second or a 2 CD set as part of Rock Candy Records. So when I find those, I want to grab them. But that's an entire disc worth of stuff. And even the second album, which is called Tough It Out, has a bunch of bonus cuts on it as well. Sometimes I have a hard time rebuying it again if there isn't bonus stuff, although I have found that the sound quality of the Rock Candy Records reissues is usually well worth it alone, just for picking it up that way if you want a better quality sounding album. Incidentally, I'm going to be doing an episode. I may have already filmed it and been posted. I don't know at the time you're seeing this, but I will be filming another episode with Grant Arthur on Grant's Rock Warehouse. Pete Pardo is going to join, and Phil Aston is supposed to join. And if that's all set up and it's happening, then I will be doing a whole other talk about Rock Candy Records with those guys, and I guess I'll bring those on it if I can. So I picked up the Yesterday and Today second album. So this is the second album from Y&T before they shortened their name to Y&T. They were called Yesterday and Today. This online reseller through eBay, I'm not saying they didn't have it, but it just wasn't up online for me to be able to order. They may have been out of stock on it, kind of thing. So I only got this one. Had they had the first one, the debut, I would have picked it up too, but that's okay. So I'm grabbing this one. And again, I have these 2 albums on a twofer release that they did through the band's website, but I've always wanted to get them on, standalone disc like this. So very, very cool to finally be getting those. I'll pick up the debut when I find it somewhere else. And then something I got in the last order from the same person was the second Fate album. And this one here might be like the fourth or fifth, I don't really know, but it's a very early 90s era album, still has a lot of that same late 80s sound that I like about the band. The keyboards in it in particular, I think are absolutely fantastic. And I streamed this one and loved it, so I was glad to find it. It's a MTM Records SPV reissue of it with 2 bonus tracks. And then this was a band I knew nothing about. I've seen them pop up here or there, but I finally decided to give it a look and check it out. A group called Fortune. And this here was actually their second album that they did. I think they had an album in the late 70s, and this is like 85, and it sounds full on like 1980s, mid 80s rock music, very keyboard laden sounding style stuff, big, kind of bombastic, just absolutely fantastic. From the first track on this, Thrill of It All, it just blew my mind. And so I got this. This was the only thing that they had listed. Otherwise, I would have thrown some more stuff in to check out. But I did find on eBay, I don't know if it's their 4th or 5th album, but it's a later album. It's one from within recent years, within the last few years or so. And I've got that on order, so I am looking forward to that. But their stuff is hard to come by. You can stream it. Fortune 2, which is actually their 3rd album, if I understand everything correctly. It is the follow-up, though, to the one I was just showing you there. So I think that's why they called it Fortune 2, but that was a reunion album. And then the one that I was talking about came after that. But yeah, so 8 albums that I just got through this place, and part of it is just getting so much at one time like this is really awesome. It's like Christmas, birthday, everything all rolled into one. And at the time that I'm getting this, this is sort of kicking off my birthday weekend. So my birthday being on Tuesday, July 22nd. So getting these things and having that to kick things off is absolutely perfect and just right. And now I'm gonna go check them out, but I hope you found something cool in this. And as I said, go check out the Heavy Metal Museum site that's on eBay and see what this person has. So much great stuff. I've already done 2 buys through there, so picking up 17 releases, and I bet you I can find more if I go back. But this is just all very cool stuff, and they've got great pricing. So check it out, see what you think, and as I said, hope you enjoyed this episode and found something cool within what I'm showing you here that you can go check out as well. All right, take care everyone, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.